Good afternoon, ladies. I finally caught up on my little to-do list of things that are non-crafting, so I thought I'd really quickly do a demonstration on how I use my BetterPress. Now, I'm very new at it, so I'm not like super really good at it, and I might be able to answer questions, but like I said, I'm pretty new at it, so I'll do my best to give you a good explanation on how it works. But these are some of the BetterPress plates that I used for the Halloween cards. This came with the little ghosts and bats that I used on the tree on that card yesterday. So when you do run them through, they do leave a little bit of an indentation. So I guess that's because they call it a BetterPress, because when it goes through, these two plates press together. As you can see here, this is a springy, let's see if I can get that. This has springs in these corners, so when you run it through, it presses down enough to leave an impression in your paper. Today I'll be using these, which is actually the BetterPress release for October. So these are kind of Christmassy sentiments. So these are the plates. And also just know that if you buy the Glimmer Press, you can also use this, or the BetterPress, you can also use it on the Glimmer machine. And then once your sentiment is pressed, then you can go and use your dies to cut out the sentiments. So as you can see, there's an A7 size, and that's where you would tape your paper. And there's also an A2 size. So when I bought this, they supplied an A2 size. Now I did look up the prices, and if you are a club member, you're going to get a discount, I believe, on this paper. But if you're just buying just off without being in the club, you're going to pay $12.99 for 12, or $12.99 for 25 sheets of A2 size. And then there's an 8.5 by 11 with 25 sheets, and it's $39.99. And the machine is $79.99. So as you can see, the paper is expensive in my personal thoughts. It's a nice thick paper. It has a nice feel to it. It does press really well, but I used a regular paper yesterday, and it worked just as well. Here's a piece of cardstock. I think it's like 110 pounds. It actually works really well, too. And this does come in different colors. I think it's ivory and white, maybe one other, maybe like a light gray. I can't remember for sure. But anyway, so here is your plate, and there is a right side and a wrong side. And then once again, here is your sizes on your press. So when you go to put your plates on, whatever you're doing, you can easily line this up so you know exactly where your paper is on this part of it. So I always, of course, try to scrunch them in so I don't waste any more than I have to, as I'm all about not having to spend a bunch of money. So I do put them in pretty closely. So as you can see, they're all in this corner. So when I tape this to the back side of this, which I just used some, oh, they called it washi tape, but I don't think it's washi tape. But I can use this a few times, and it's stuff I won't use. So I'll just line it up here. And then as far as ink, they do sell a BetterPress ink, but you can also use your own kind of ink, which the BetterPress ink is a smaller ink pad, and to me, they seem to not hold their, I put it this way, I need to get some re-inkers. So then this is going to sit right over on the top of it, and when it runs through, it's going to press. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it first, and then I will show you as I run it through the machine. So this is the ink I'm going to use today. It's a Ranger Archival ink, and it's jet black. And of course, you know, we could probably use a red or something, but because I don't know what my card front will look like, I can't match my dies or my paper to my ink color. So black is always a safe choice. And I think the more you use these, it seems the better they take the ink. And then I don't know, I've never tried the brayer, but maybe it might be a good way to get ink on your brayer and then run it over. But like I said, I haven't tried it. If anybody has, please let me know. And the nice thing about this is, if you run it through once and you don't feel like you got a good, even application, you can run it through again, because this is taped together and this is magnetic, so it's not going to move. So I'm going to now show you running it through the Spellbinder Platinum 6. So with this BetterPress, you aren't going to use the plate that comes, the bottom plate that comes with this. So because this is a thick plate, so this is all in one. As you can see, it's got a bottom plate and then the top plate. So all you do is just like you would with a die, you run it through. I always go in and then I come back out. And then I'm going to check to see if I got a good amount of ink. And there it is. So it looks like I was off just a little bit. But, yeah. So look at that. I need to re-ink, and I need to move my stuff over just a little bit. So I should have pulled it in a little bit more, but that gives you an idea right here. So I'm going to turn this paper over, re-ink, and center my sentiments a little bit better. And I guess I probably should have spaced them a little bit more, because I'm going to cut them out with the dies. Okay, so as you see, I have spread these out some. So I gave myself room to definitely be able to use my die cuts around them. I'm going to redo it again. So this is where it's nice that the paper, that regular paper goes and works with it, because like I said, this BetterPress paper is expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and re-ink. And it does look like it inks better once it's been used once. And I kind of twist it. They kind of say you need to kind of twist it back and forth to get a good application of ink. Okay, so I've got it inked, I think. I'd rather not run it through a second time, so I'm going to make sure it's good and inked. But the nice thing is I can go back and re-ink if I need to. And I also changed the paper again. So now I'm going to line it up, which magnetically, it works just perfectly. And now I'm going to run it through again. Really pretty easy. No shims at all on this, but I suppose if you used a thinner paper, you might need the shims. And there you go. That turned out pretty darn good. And I think I might try to ink just a little bit more again. I'm not sure if maybe a brayer might be a better way to not get any ink on the plate and just not the words, because I see I got a little bit of an ink on the plate, and then when it pressed, it kind of showed up a little bit, but not terribly bad. So I'm going to go ahead and try it one more time, but this all lines up perfectly one more time. There we go. So yes, it worked. Not perfect, but it's definitely readable. So like I said, a brayer might be something I might want to try. I just have not used a brayer. So anyway, that is how this works. And then of course, I'm gonna let this ink dry a little bit just to make sure it's dry. It probably is fairly dry. And then you just set your little dies on it to cut out your sentiments. That's how this works.